We're live. Hey, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And we're here today. Scott had a family event, a wedding, and he couldn't get back. And he thought he might get back by 1 o'clock today. And I said, no, I'm not going to sit around till 1. So when I said, oh, Sean, whatever will I do to fill the screen for my Sunday coffee? And he said, I can come. And then I called Eli, and Eli said, I can come. So we're all here. This is very Texas looking group of folks, but we can answer questions. Now, may I say that Eli and Sean don't read cards. They read newspapers and keep track of the political things. And so I'm going to start with a couple questions we got early, and then we're going to let people have a chance to get in the room. And this question came in: would a heart repair in April 2025, would that have made a difference in the outcome? And I don't know what the outcome is. I have no other sense of what we're talking about here.
I have no idea what heart repair we're talking about.
Huh?
I don't know what heart repair we're talking about.
The one apparently she had that she thinks.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I'm surmising from what I'm seeing in front of me. So I get to shuffle the cards a little bit. And then we're going to give you our best sage advice. We got a candidate who can talk about being on the ground and working the fields and talking about what it's like to be a candidate from the point of not some reporter who kind of goes when they want to, from a candidate who really has to be there.
Although Eli, I think, might be the subject of a New York Times article here shortly.
I've heard this rumor.
Rumors of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I can't wait.
Okay.
I hope he publishes it.
Yeah.
Okay. What I got is I did a 5-card yes, no, and in the center is justice. It would have given you a more fighting chance with what's going on. But it says you're moving on from that. You got the Knight of Swords. You were pretty weak at that point, and I think that had a reason why they chose not to do the repair then. And you still have a chance to catch up with this. You still have a chance to bring yourself back together. But yes, if your question was, would the heart repair in April have made a difference in the outcome? I don't know what the outcome was, but yes, it would have made a difference in the outcome. And I kind of think this is a real painful subject for you. So anyway, and I'm not doing any other personal questions. She attached that in. So this is a political question. Will the Delaney Hall protests be effective and end peacefully? Those poor people. That's some protests that have been going on 9 or 10 days outside of a detention center.
Yeah, and then there's a food. I think they're doing a famine or a food strike, whatever you call that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they're not eating. And I think at this point, when you see one side busting out the same stuff that Gandhi did, and you find yourself on the other side, maybe you picked the wrong side. Is I think where we're at this point, because I don't know if it's going to end peacefully. I mean, honestly, that's on the government, because right now you got people starving and being beaten and pepper sprayed. And it's all because of what the government's doing.
Well, so that's what they did. That was part of the movement to get the vote for women.
Right. No, every time there's been movement, it's because of it's things like this. I mean, elections do make a difference, but these are the events in time. When you go back and look, this is what moved the needle, and I think that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The cards I got for this one, it's a yes and a no, and I'll tell you the interpretation. This is the Hangman reverse. These people realize we got to do something. We're just going to sit here and rot. So they took this action, and 3 of Cups is sharing and eating and having a good time, and they're obviously not. this is the people I think they're going to win because their message is getting out there. The King of Coins is not happy about this at all, but they got the Palace of Coins, and this deck has 4 other cards, and they've got in the suits they have the Palace, and the Palace means that to win the values they want, it's going to be effective. And I think that says it will end peacefully, but when you go through that kind of starvation, it causes all kinds of problems.
And and to be honest, it's not peaceful right now.
No, they're out in the streets, they're fighting.
So I think that what we're looking at here is another one of those. People always think campaigns are all planned out and orchestrated, and yes, there probably and hopefully is some of that, because there are some people who get paid to do that. But 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that's happened that's outside the norm or is against whatever the other side is up to. And I think we're just seeing, when you see Minneapolis and all the other cities, and now Trump's talking about ending international flights to places that he considers sanctuary cities. BT dubs, that's pretty much every major city in the country,
including where I live.
Including, so hey, there's a thing called the World Cup coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone heard of it? Largest sporting event on the planet. And I'm feeling like there's gonna be some international flights coming from that. So yeah, you never know what's gonna turn the key, and it could be something like that. It could be something like what we're seeing in the detention centers. It probably will be both.
Mm-hmm.
Different stuff hits different people in different ways. And I'm definitely more like, my politics are well known, but it had nothing to do with the detention centers because I was already there. So you have all those people as well. So I think it's what the Republicans are doing to chisel away at that 50% of the people that just don't vote to get off their butts and vote. And the more things that they do like this that are unnecessary, it's unnecessary to put people in a position where they feel like starving themselves is the only possible explanation. It's unnecessary to shut down cities because you don't agree with their local politics. All of these unnecessary actions, all the stuff that was done with ICE was unnecessary. It just causes trouble and pain and hate, and costs money. And I think that's what's going to move these 50%, because I think they're fine when everything is reasonably okay. The second that it doesn't, second that stuff starts to get real in their world, i.e. the price of gas,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going to really push the needle.
Well,
and so, Eli, what are you seeing where you're at? What are you paying for gas?
Well, right now, most everywhere that I live in McKinney, Texas, which is in Collin County, which is the county most north of, or just north of Dallas County. And everywhere I'm seeing, all my friends are paying about $4.40 per gallon of gas. Some places have it a little less expensive, and I've been able to see some at $3.70, but it's climbing. It's going up.
Yeah, and Exxon just said, hold my beer. They put out an announcement this past week, says the gas could go up a whole nother $1 or more. And I have a whole show on my channel about the impact of gas on votes. And every quarter it goes up is a percentage point. And it's getting pretty real. That's why we're seeing these. We were seeing D plus 13.5 before gas went up. I honestly haven't seen anything close to this cycle except for maybe the 2010 Tea Party movement, where they moved a lot of incumbents out, and we're seeing this huge wave of voters, but this time it's on the Democratic side. So it's going to be really interesting to see how all this plays out. It bangs for you, though. You are the bluest part of Collin County, and it's only going to get bluer, especially in a cycle like this. You will be the youngest elected official in Texas come November.
This is Eli's ad, EliWorthy.com. His
right. Eli Worthy, if if you're watching and you want to give to the youngest candidate running in Texas, if you want to really support young candidates, here's the youngest candidate you could possibly support in the largest state, or I guess second largest state in the country. So it's an opportunity for anyone that's out there.
And Eli, tell them what you're running for.
So I'm running for the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 4 of Collin County, which is all of West Collin County. And for those who don't know, a Justice of the Peace is a judge position, which is over a few main things. One is they can marry people. So when you go down to the courthouse, you get married, it's by a Justice of the Peace. The second one is traffic court. So any traffic violations or anything like that, that goes through the JP. And they can also do small claims court under $20,000. And they do things like evictions and truancy court. You know, I'm running for this position because I feel passionately that we need to make a change. Right now in our environment, we can't just not pay attention to politics anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Things need to change in order for people to continue living their lives. And even though I'm 19 years old, I have an interest into what our future is going to look like. And if I don't do something now, who will?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to stand up for everyone else?
That's right.
We talk about the bystander effect sometimes, where we all just think anybody else is going to do something. And so the burden's not on me. But who else is going to stand up? So I decided to run. I knocked on 1,100 doors in 3 weeks to get 500 signatures to be on this ballot. And we did it. We accomplished that goal. We made it past the primary with 22,000 votes. And I finally know who my opponent is going to be. And he lied about his address, stick it on the ballot. He doesn't live in my precinct. He is endorsed by, all these big name Angela Paxton and all sorts of people.
Well, Angela, may I point out, Angela had the good taste to have been married to the gubernatorial candidate, Ken. So that tells you about what Angela. So it's more about the woman that you want. Okay, go on. Sure.
And he has, he got sued by the incumbent and he ended up winning the lawsuit, as the judges have endorsed him now in this race. So we're going up against money. We're going up against people who want the same good old boys club, but I'm here to do something good.
And what is there a campaign? Is there a limit to how much an individual can give to your campaign?
No, there is not. There is no limit.
That's awesome. So we just need one millionaire out there. Let's bankroll this. And
I can guarantee you, Sean, they're not watching this show.
That's too bad.
It was an opportunity. So that's.
But you never know who will see this. You don't know. I mean, So we'll see. The universe plays weird games.
That's true. That's true. But if you're in the Dallas area and you want to have a chance to really physically meet Eli on June 8th at the Holy Grail Pub in Plano, what time would that be?
I believe it starts at 6:30.
That sounds about right. That's when most of them do.
Yep. 6:30 is when it starts. The Holy Grail Pub. Me and a few other down ballot candidates will be there, and we'll just kind of explain what our platforms are and explain what we're running against and explain how we're going to make a difference in our communities.
Well, cool.
That's excellent.
And those are the sorts of things, folks, you got to start to know. I mean, I know there's a lot of you that are not in the Dallas area, put it mildly, but I know Marby's in the Dallas area. She's in my chat today. Anyway, it's been a pretty pivotal week.
Hey, there you go.
Thoreau Ask Backwards is his name. Yes, it has.
Very, very busy week. Trump lost a lot of judgments this week, which honestly, I tell you, 9 times out of 10, when I look at the stuff he does, I'm like, there's no way that's going to get through, but we won't know that for 8 or 9 months. And throughout the entire 8 or 9 months, he just generates noise and just creates more and more noise, drowns out really good candidates like Eli, drowns out congressmen, drowns out whole elections with his noise. And I'll tell you, when I'm watching the news, I'll mute whenever he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do need to know what's going on. I don't have to listen to him.
No, that
And
voice is irritating.
and his voice also is like nails on a chalkboard in my brain at this point. The only one that I can't listen to more is RFK Jr. Never mind what comes out of his mouth is completely insane. Literally his voice, I just can't take it.
Well,
And,
not only that, these are the things that have come out in just the last couple days. Judge orders the Kennedy Center has to remove Trump's name from the front of it.
Cheers.
Washington Post, this is where it came from. Trump fumes that Congress and courts are holding up his ballroom. That's why he tore the side down so fast, because then we'd still have an east wing. Mm-hmm. Federal judge bars Trump from immediately setting up the $1.8 billion fund.
Slush fund.
Yeah, slush fund. Judge reopens Trump's IRS suit and questions his weaponization fund. Cornyn defeat fuels tensions between Trump and the Republicans that are still in the Senate. Mm-hmm. Trump's approval rating slips to 34%, and that's by YouGov and the Economist poll. That's a good poll, right, Sean? YouGov.
Yeah, no, YouGov does a really good job. Their sample size is pretty solid, okay. And their methodology is also, they post the methodology. A lot of these don't, so you can actually look at the questions that were asked, why they asked these questions, what the follow-ups were like, and what the universe that they targeted is. If you go to YouGov, you're going to find good stuff. Okay.
And the U.S. Senate votes to advance resolution to curb Trump's Iran war powers. That's a vote that came this week. House members defy leadership and force a vote for Ukrainian aid. From Moscow to Crimea, Ukraine is winning in the drone war against Russia, and that was in the Atlantic Council. That was published there. Trump leaves Situation Room meeting with no update from the Iran deal. Politico. Key inflation gauge worsens as American incomes and spending power erodes. AP. U.S. first quarter GDP reveals lower than 1.6% pace, which is Reuters, and that's really bad if you know economics. The researchers did a whole article on Wired on who would be fighting Ebola in Africa if Trump hadn't cut the funds. Mm-hmm. So he can't keep Ebola where Ebola shouldn't be there, but it shouldn't be anyway. Kenyan court blocks the opening of the U.S. Ebola quarantine center on the air base, so they can't quarantine. Ask Todd, Bondi throws out at reporters when asked about the Epstein files and throws him under the bus. That's MS Now. Trump falls asleep one more time after he says he had a medical check that went perfectly. That was the New Republic. Let me finish. We have to thank Danny Shea from Hopium Chronicles for that rundown.
Oh, good job, Danny.
Now you can talk.
The he's losing everywhere, but again, what it's doing is it's absorbing the oxygen out of the room, so we can't talk about the stuff that actually matters. You know, no one wants to talk about where Texas is in education or healthcare or mortality rate. None of that stuff's being talked about. Boy, we're talking about a west wing of a building that's almost 1,200 miles away. So I'm like, my feeling is that a lot of this that he's doing is really, really just to absorb the timeline.
Oh yeah,
absorb. And if it can get crazier, he will do it. Because like this UFC fight thing at the White House, which is just like what? I mean, and not to say UFC is any kind of fringe organization or anything. I think they did the math. It's like football, basketball, baseball, then I think UFC, then hockey, as far as popular sports go in the United States. So it's top 5. So yeah, it deserves a place in our world, but I'm not sure it's the front lawn of the White House. And I'm pretty sure the fact that every music industry professional that will do events like that have any kind of real scope. They've all pulled out at this point, and now Trump, I think, announced at
Yeah,
1
he's
in the
going to
morning
cancel.
yesterday that he's the star, he's
Right.
the speaker, he's the guy who's going to talk, which is insane. Let's see how this works out. It'll be exactly what you think, and that the military has been asked to show up, but they're not paying for tickets, not paying to fly them in, but they have to be a certain weight and a certain body mass, and all this other random stuff. All of again, just to take up oxygen out of the room. The whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all just one distraction, and it feeds the beast. That's the problem. Like the biggest complaint media had when Biden was president is that it was boring. They're little junkies addicted to this nonsense. That's why I don't really talk about Trump or any of his BS on my channel. I just talk about campaigning, elections, you know, strategies on how you can win, things of that nature, because that's all that matters. All this other stuff is just noise. Anyway.
Well, Eli, can you talk about what's going on up in your part of Collin County in Frisco? What they've been up to and the guys who are showing up from Trump's side to support it?
I can. So, if there's anything that you know about Frisco, Texas, is a lot. Frisco is kind of a central impact for Southeast Asian communities, and it has grown exponentially because of it. So much, like they have skyscrapers now in Frisco because of how many people are moving to Frisco, and amping up the economy and giving it that boost of life that it has needed. They are building new mosques and temples for Muslims and Hindus to worship. Well, the city council of Frisco, they had a city council meeting, and they were talking about whether it was a vote whether they were going to continue with it or not continue with it. And one of the guys from the January 6th storm on the Capitol, who has been in prison for the past 4 years, he's a Florida resident, actually. He flew in from Florida I think it was a couple weeks ago, and he came to the city council meeting and spoke and was berating all of the city council members and yelling and screaming at them and calling those Hindus and Muslim people very horrible things, and calling them terrorists and saying that they're going to take the white people's children, and really, really throwing them a loop. And there was a candidate who's running for the Frisco mayor, and he was there cheering him on, and he's openly supported this guy coming to Frisco and really destroying something good that they have going on there. They're currently in a runoff in the Frisco mayoral election, and which starts tomorrow. The early voting starts tomorrow, and Rod Vilhauer is his name, the guy that's really just berating them and really, really, really supporting this guy that came out there. But Mark Hill is the other one, and he's been nothing but supportive and helpful towards everyone else, and he's kind of the leader in the race so far. But it's crazy to think that this is happening in a city that is right next to where I live, and it's crazy. This is the type of things that you read about in books when people wouldn't accept black people, and it's insane to me that this is even happening right now, that we can't even get along ever.
Yeah. Okay. We'll let Eli cool off. Okay. 3 shifting veils. I'm not going to talk about that. Okay, I'll put it up. I don't think that's going to happen. That's crematoriums. They say ICE is ordered. I've never been able to find any really valid. That's like a conspiracy rumor thing, I think, more than anything else.
Actually, this is a conspiracy rumor that was built on a couple of interesting facts. The fact was that that ICE had put out a almost like a vendor request order to something to this end, and they had asked because crematoriums are very specific, zoned, and monitored,
Mhm.
thing. And the request went out, but because of the, you know, the request for project, outline of what they were looking for, it could not be met because what they were looking for was absolutely terrible in every way. That the RFP basically got thrown out. But that at one point in time, they were looking for something along that effect, but it was never, they weren't like buying up locations and setting them up in real time. It was basically the companies that do this, that are licensed to do this, said, "Are you mind?" I mean, and then that was the end of it. So there was, to say that they're setting them up, that's conspiracy. To say that they were interested, that's actually fact.
Well, that I could believe.
Yeah, they were definitely interested, but at the end of the day, these are licensed companies that have everything to lose. When, it's not if, but when this would go sideways, and like everything else in the Trump administration, they don't care about you. They're looking for end results, and they'll watch you burn.
Okay.
That you're a bridge to a destination they're trying to get to, and when that bridge is burning behind them, they don't care because they're already moved on.
Okay.
And I think a lot of companies are starting to figure that out.
I have to let Eli go. Eli does work for a living as a college student and putting himself through school and everything else. Thank you so much, Eli, for coming around and letting us see the youngest candidate. Eli's well worth supporting. Please
Definitely go check out the website.
go check out his website.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Eli.
I appreciate y'all's time.
Later, Eli.
Okay, now it's just us.
That's exciting.
Is James Tallarico too nice to successfully oppose and winning? No, not really.
So I think Tallarico to me has everything going for him in this cycle.
Mhm.
Like there are things being invented to go for him that I haven't even seen before. My biggest concern is his victory leans on the low propensity voters turning out in an off presidential cycle. And the best way to do that is to talk to them directly from your campaign in a, not that they take, it's not that they need to be persuaded to vote for Tallarico. They need to be persuaded to vote, period.
They need
And
to be reminded and told, be there.
You need a low cost way of speaking directly to them that's also high influence, and that's field. And I know because I'm on social media and I'm watching, he is posting more anecdotal field stuff from volunteers. Problem is he needs to knock on like 4 million doors statewide, and you can't do that with volunteers. That's, to give everyone understanding, 150 days out from the election, that's 26,000 doors a day. Is he doing that? I doubt their burn rate's that high, but it needs to be. And by not taking that seriously, in my opinion, and it costs money to do that. Don't get me wrong, and he's being outspent. He'll be outspent 20-1 no matter what happens. That should be a priority for his organization, and I'm not sure it is, but I don't know because I'm not in their circle. I'm not hired by them. I don't know anyone who is hired by them that I talk to regularly. I have a few associates that are, but they have no reason to tell me anything. But what I'm seeing on the ground, because when you have a large field program like that knocking on doors, for one, they can generate their own material for social media, and it's always it's not volunteers doing it, and you can tell because it's a little bit of a professional tint to it. And yes, the anecdotal volunteer stuff's great, but when you start seeing the campaign people actually producing the bulk of the material, that means they're out doing stuff that can be turned into material. And that is what a field program looks like. You'll see a lot of stuff at events. Events are great, but they're not doors and there's no metric to it. So what his campaign needs to do, and they ain't paying me to give them advice, and I'm sure there's probably a dozen people in that room saying the exact same thing I am. They need to start knocking on more doors, and that's what they need to do. And the best way to do that is through paid, well-trained campaign work. So we'll see. But yes, being nice works, because Kim Paxton isn't even like, there's a part of the lizard brain that'll say Trump is entertaining. Kim Paxton isn't entertaining.
Okay.
Trump is. Yeah.
Okay. Got to go back to questions. Okay. Here's a little report in southeastern Michigan. Regular is $4.40, gallon $4.60, diesel is $6.
Diesel is what those 18-wheelers run on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a huge factor once it gets to the grocery store. There's your big inflation kicker. Transportation and packaging. Those are the two big inflation kickers. We saw it during COVID when, remember, there was a cardboard shortage because of where it was made, which was not here. Yeah, it's stuff like that. That's the $6 there. That's the 440, 460. That definitely hits votes. But what solidifies those votes will be the cost of a gallon of milk, or any fluid, really, because fluid's heavy. No air in it, obviously. So yeah, that's what you're going to see: milk, orange juice, things of that nature.
Yay, Eli.
Yay, Eli.
We agree.
Eli.
3 shifting veils. We've been pushing for a worldwide boycott of the World Cup. Headlines are pointing to one. Will it work?
It's going to happen, right? Because of the immigration policies that the Trump administration's picked up. Foreigners don't want to come here. Trump did his own boycott. His policies will boycott the World Cup. Plus, the price of a ticket is insane. So not even local fans are going to be able to. It's like Super Bowl to go to one game. And it's insane. So no, the boycott's going to happen, but ironically, it'll be because of market forces. Free market is going to kill the world.
Free market's going to kill
free market. We're all about free market, right, Republicans? Well, yeah.
Will they ever pass a law that forbids felons from running for federal government? I'm going to
There is a law. There is a law. Yep.
Paxton's not running for federal government. He hasn't been convicted. May I let you know that the people who were indicted with Paxton years ago about his legal problem for, it was a scam for taking people's money for investments or something. The other people that were involved in that suit have already been convicted, served their time, and they're out. And he's still sitting as our AG. So, okay. I think there is a law that forbids felons from serving in the federal government, but
definitely serving in positions. So there's various different state laws, but like if you're a felon, you can't work in the federal government. Ironically, it's easier to get elected in the federal government if you're a felon than otherwise. But yeah, her problem is Trump's convicted felon status and the fact he can be president. I mean, it's a rough bit. It's a rough beat, but presidents have different rules.
They're not going to need to pass a law because we already have it. They just need to enforce it.
Right.
That means taking arrest and putting people where they're supposed to be. Okay. Right. How about removing customs and borders from sanctuary cities? So they're going to ban international flights, and it sounds nuts. I don't think that's going to happen, guys.
I don't either. They're already pissing off the different business communities across the country with all of these. They already, I mean, with the tariffs alone, that was, going nuclear. And now that the Trump administration is trying to keep them from even getting their tariffs refunded, the ones that were found illegal, that's going to piss them off. And now you're going to cut off an international airport, which is a huge economic hub. I mean,
Well, those are also subject to treaties. I mean, it's not like you can just say, no, you can't land here.
right.
There are things you could do.
We can land there so they can land here. It's that's how it works. And if they want to go in and start breaking that up, good luck. I mean, we've already lost one airliner, although yes, it was definitely sus as far as airliners go, to the Trump economic world in which he has created.
Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit. I would only have carry-on that one. I don't know if I would actually ship luggage. But what I'm feeling is that if things like that continue to happen, and you see relatively healthy companies start to feel the bite, then you're gonna see a huge backlash, both in dollars, because remember they created a system where these corporations are people. Well, if they start pissing these people off, then I think they're going to find themselves in the wrong end of the donor world. And that's really the only thing that the Republicans care about is money. So at the end of the day, I think this is definitely going to be something that they're going to have to deal with. And we're just really at the beginning of it.
The executive branch can't pull these things. Treaties are put together by Congress, and I used to
ratify by Congress.
I used to work in passenger pricing for a major airline. Trust me, the way they've got tickets locked up and how all that goes, it's not. There's a lot more to it than you see when you buy a ticket.
And that was back in your day, Mom. So you can imagine they're 10 times.
I mean, yes, we're still printing it on papyrus. Who wants a $250 bill with this face on it? Not me.
Well, my current economic status, it's not really a problem for me. So I don't think it's going to be. I mean, what those will be is novelty things that you'll see at National Rifle Association, conferences in 2032.
Yeah, along with this gold sneakers and all that other
There'll be museum pieces to.
And I don't think they can get him printed before he's not going to be with us anymore.
The amount of work that it takes.
It takes to do that. Yeah, because those little plates are hand carved. They're not AI.
Right.
Friday, he threatened to bomb allies in the Gulf states. Well, I gave you the other laundry list of what he said he was going to do, and he ain't done none of it. Thank God. Or he's been blocked.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that he's going to do whatever he's going to do.
Boys may be gone, but Doge is still internally operating the government's account. Is Doge real? I thought Doge got tossed.
No, it was kind of like a virus that went in there and spread around. Okay. Now got little bitty micro Doges still running around trying to do things. You see that with the NASA budget that just got proposed. They want to they want to kill 70 different missions. So problem is, what they don't seem to understand is now they're messing with Houston money, Florida money, the avionics and tech industry money. They're messing with Elon Musk's money now. There's a whole lot of money they're playing with that spread out in all sorts of different industries. People don't even connect really even with NASA, and that's all going to be affected. You notice that you haven't heard a lot from the universities or how they're coming down on universities recently, because when they pulled all that grant funding, they just told every university to circle the wagons and lawyer up. And that's what every university in this country has done that took any grant money. So that's why you see Trump losing all of these races. It's because his Justice Department, which he gutted, is now having to fight on so many different fronts that they're just starting to drop balls. And as we get closer to November, the more those balls are going to drop. And by the time November's done and the Republicans are out of both the House and the Senate, in my personal opinion, you're going to see an overwhelmed judicial branch that's owned and operated by the Trump administration, and it's going to be the lawyers are just going to run for the hills, and then it's just going to be a deluge.
When they watch Pam Bondi get disbarred,
yeah, like Trump's losing this bad, and he's not a lame duck yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tallarico will be okay. They're busy trashing him, disgusting, especially Miller.
Yeah, they're calling him a vegan and a member of LGBTQ community, like a member, not just an ally. Problem is, he's got, he's married. He's on camera eating meat multiple times. This is where they're at 5 months before the election. There's not a whole lot of runway after this. So the fact that they're going after him this hard tells me two very important things. One, they're really scared of him. And two, they think that their candidate is garbage. And their candidate is garbage. I honestly think their governor candidate's garbage. I think the lieutenant governor is the candidate is garbage as well. I think we have two women in those positions that would do remarkably better than what we're seeing on the other side. And that scares the crap out of them because they know they've got a governor that's going to drop $115 million over the next 5 months. But they're concerned that might not be enough. They're talking about dropping $1 trillion in Texas, of which the governor would be 10%. I mean, that's how scared they are. And then they're gonna mess with voting machines, which we've already seen, and they're gonna come after every, there's just not enough runway. I think they think their plane's not going to get off the ground come November because it's going to hit rough dirt and just nose right in. Meanwhile, the Democrats going to be all the way up in the air. So Tallarico's got issues with different parts of the Democratic Party, and he's got 5 months to figure that out. But as far as the slander and everything goes, the only people who are going to listen to that are the people who aren't going to vote for him anyway.
Okay. And we're going to go. Excuse me. I'm having allergies today.
No, I don't have allergies, and I'm having allergies. Texas is no fun this time of year.
Not this time of year. The White House is a lost cause. I've heard this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to tear the White House down. That would be
that makes him right. That makes him right.
Yes. It doesn't need to be a museum. It just needs to be, his people need to be put out of the way. Okay. Peter Thiel has moved to Argentina. What's he afraid of? Will others follow? Will Vance follow him? It's hard to be president when you're living in Argentina.
Right. Yeah, I'm not overly I think what we're starting to see is all the rats leaving the ship. This summer is going to be huge for that because it's summer, so it's a slow media time, although it will not be this cycle. But in theory, normally when you get off the boat in politics, it's during the summer, and it'll be like late on a Friday night, kind of posting, "Oh, I'm out," You're going to see a lot of that over the next 12 weeks, and it should be. I'm thinking about running a ticker on my channel for that. So, by the way, if you don't know who I am, you can go to CLSB Politics on YouTube and come check me out. I have over 300 episodes.
It's on a little flag beneath him.
There you go. And you can go check me out on YouTube. I talk about all of this stuff and more. I even go into the minutia of campaign finance and how to
read a poll. I think some of the
Right,
best stuff to do is how to look at what we're being pumped at us, because
right,
there's a lot of
right.
polls that aren't worth the money that they're printed
Yeah.
on.
Today was one of my. I haven't done many polling shows because, quite honestly, until these runoffs were more or less done, there wasn't anything really to look at for Texas. These polls with Corn and Tallarico and all that, you can't have 2 or 3 Republicans and 1 Democrat in a poll. That's not a thing. You can either poll the Republicans or you can poll the Democrat. That's it. Now that the space is cleared, the Republicans know really 100% who their nominee is. Now we can start finding out things. And Tallarico is at least keeping up. It's all the polling now is really, really early, but at least I show it in a context. I don't try to post anything that's under 1,400 sample size. I don't believe in diet polls. And I try to stick with the orgs that actually do the hard work and have at least some kind of historical context. And so if you like some of that, you'll find that on my show as well. I also try to look at, not just like the thing that's happening, but why that thing is happening and how long has it been happening? How does that thing actually work? I try to approach a lot of issues in that kind of context as well. Also interview candidates. I've interviewed Eli a couple times and hope to get a few more. So might have a congressional coming out of East Texas, actually. So that might be interesting. And she's running in a hard district to win, but in a normal cycle, that would be true. This is not normal. So I think all hands on deck. And the challenges they're running into are some of the same ones that Eli's running.
Someone put in the comments that she liked both my sons. This is my son. Eli, I did not give birth to.
No, Eli's not one of us. He's in the circle, but he's not.
He's got the perfect name for running, Worthy. None of my kids got good names.
He's worthy of your vote. I can assure you. He's freaking literally an Eagle Scout.
Okay, I'm getting here, and we're hearing a lot about the AI industry is getting ready to bust. It's investing in itself. It's it's looking a lot like the railroads in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, but the railroads actually did something. It moved.
That's true.
I think a lot of these companies will eventually be. So if you go look at the price of RAM right now, for those of you who don't know what computers are, RAM is basically how much your computer can hold in its little computer brain. Well, it's very, very expensive right now because these different companies are buying all of it up, right? And what's going to happen is a lot of that going to be very expensive very quickly as these guys liquidate. And so if you're looking to build a supercomputer in about a year, you're going to be able to build a really nice one.
Because all that RAM's going to be out there for sale. This is what I got. This is the I'm out of here. This is the 8 of Cups. Yeah, there's big chunks of the AI industry and the big threats of them that are going to fall to the wayside.
And there's going to be a lot of consolidation too. So they're going to let them build the biggest problem with these server farms is the amount of water and energy they take out of communities. That's the real damage.
I think they're rushing the AI centers because they know the government is going to bail them out and then get all the money. What do we see? No, I think they're going to be out of here, but let's see if there's going to be, if the Congress and Senate changes, no, they're not going to get bailed out. We've bailed out.
You're bailing out what?
Yeah, I know.
5, maybe 6 engineers. This is hardly a large car manufacturer in some town. This isn't a bank that is the backbone of the financial industry globally. This is a 5 engineers in a air-conditioned warehouse, monitoring and maintaining servers, which, by the way, have to be replaced every 5 years. So when the bill comes up for these, there's not going to be any. They're going to be like, oh wow, that's terrible. And then all these guys are giving all these server companies and these AI companies giving all this money, these politicians. Well, they're going to be in a new election cycle. They're going to be like, well, how much money do you have now? And they're like, well, we can't give you money. We gave you all this money last cycle. He's like, yeah, that was last cycle. This is this.
What cycle I got for I got is they're going to be the Knight of Cups can also be the teller of tales, and that's what they're going to become known as, the companies that told tall tales and really couldn't deliver much of anything.
Absolutely. Well,
And
I actually have to go to church. So I am going to have to say goodbye to everybody, but I would very
okay,
much like them to go check out my channel at CLSB Politics and see if we can see if there's anything there that you guys might find interesting. I have huge playlists and, you know, there's all topical. So feel free to go check me out. So, and please go buy her a cup of coffee. She's very grumpy when she doesn't get her coffee.
that's right. If you buy me a cup of coffee, okay, sweetie, have a good time at church. Say bye.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. If you buy me a cup of coffee and you make a donation, there's a way I can either reply and say just a little verbal little thing that says thank you, or I can tape a 30-second video and I pull an Oracle card for you and I send that to you as your thanks. So if you buy me a cup of coffee, that's how I pay you. And I got into using Buy Me a Cup of Coffee instead of YouTube because they take less and they work a lot more cleanly. And I can personally thank you for supporting me. So now we're just to me, and this is going to go on. I've got a few more things here starred. That's true, Indigo Child. Colorado did keep Trump off the ballot, and that's one reason why he hates you. He hates you because you're a blue state too. And there is a 14th Amendment that says, thank you, artist Liz, super sticker. Indigo Child, there's a law. It's the 14th Amendment, and that's one that says felons can't be in, but then they sneak them in through the back door. And the guys that we let out from the January 6th, they're not going away, like the guy that's become their profession. Not being in jail has become their profession. Instead of learning from their problems, they didn't do anyway. Okay, Paxton is another one who can't tell if he's coming or going. That's true, and I live in the state where he's running as for our governor and for the Senate, and I will do everything I can to help fight him. Okay, I'm going through the questions, guys. This is going to be a little bit like Peter Thiel also is all over the Epstein files. And I think, Argentina is where everyone went after World War II. And I get that Thiel is going to do a Palantir and surveillance for the people in Argentina. I hope not. And so glad anybody. I did this on my own because Scott and I talked about just skipping a week, and I think there's at least almost 200 of you right now that look forward to this, and I really think it's important to keep your shows when you have your shows, So I'm going to hang in here, and I got a question. PT is escaping because he's all over the Epstein files, and it's interesting how that's where the Hitlers went, right? And you're right. And Trump gave $40 million of our money. That's our money. That's not fighting disease here, fighting disease in Africa. If that's where we need to go fight diseases before they get really bad. Dallas was one of the few cities that had a person who got out of Africa with Ebola, and he actually died here in a hospital. He died in a hospital. It's about 6 miles from where I live. When that first Ebola outbreak happened, it was really terrible. Okay, this is one. Will California have 2 Dems on the ballot in November? And I'm going to continue to use my bunny cards because my bunny cards like me today. Oh, that's the one I typed in because somebody had asked me that to ask that. They're not going to be here this morning. Okay. Will there be 2 Dems on them? I get yes and no. It's still up in the air. It depends on how the vote shows out. It's in the balance right now, whether there'll be 2 of them. Depends. Republicans may say we want to have 1 on there. But the vote is, I believe, this Tuesday. So it's really close. I'm just going to pull. Burp, burp, burp. What else I got to pull? Got a different deck to pull from. This is my pretty deck. This is my Marchetti deck. Yeah, it's still close to battling it out. One of the Republicans is going to have to bow back for the other one to win. So they could do it that way. If they don't do that, then there will be 2 Dems. And they're both good candidates, I think. Well, I don't know. But, they skipped the country. The Mossad in Israel was really good at going and finding people. So maybe we could go find them. Tallarico needs more Black and brown people working for him, Black women especially, and stating they're out in the political streets. Artist Liz Sean actually went to a meeting of a group of people of color on Tuesday night, and he discussed how they need people to get out in their own neighborhoods and talk about supporting Tallarico. We need a lot more people on the streets in Texas doing that. Okay, and then hide. And Artist Liz would not be amazed. And I hope there are 2 Dems because then they have 2 good choices. And people are pushing back on the AI centers because they're so bad for us. And primaries this Tuesday in California, Iowa, Montana, New Jersey, and South Dakota. How will we do? Okay. Will Dems do well? That's what I'm going to ask. Will Dems do well? In the primaries. Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. The first card is the Hangman reversed. See, that would be right side up. And that says that because they're finally moving forward with their issues, they're going to ride out of there like the Knight of Swords. We're going to have really strong expression of ideas, new ideas coming out, new people showing up. That it's got the 7 of coins, which is that's the guy that's planted a good crop. It's going to be a good time for us to do that. But this is the delusions card, or there's going to be a lot of opportunities and choice. So what the Dems need to do is not just rest on that, but they need to be out there looking at it. Jean, the reason Sean's channel doesn't show up on your YouTube feed is because YouTube refuses to monetize them. We have not figured out why it's not. I mean, he's saying things much more factually than Midas Touch and some of the other big political channels, but he just gave up fighting with them and he just puts his word out there that way. But if you go in, I'm going to tell you, they changed the rules. It used to be if you clicked the bell, it meant you were a subscriber and you would get all our postings. If you go to any one channel, click on that bell and see if it says all, because somewhere in the last couple months, YouTube changed to personalize. So if they see you watch more of a certain type of material, they will send you that material instead of everything you do. Because like there are people who, if they only watch me on Sunday, all they'll ever get is my Sunday postings. They won't get my other postings. And this is the only time of the week that I talk politics, guys. So if you go in now and you click on the person where it says the little bell icon that says that you want to be notified, if you push all, that means everything, single thing that channel puts out, you'll see. Because I had a lot of channels, I thought, where'd they go? Why am I not seeing them? And it's because I had skipped a show they did on something. So anyway, because I can tell you, if you've got all, I have Sean all I have to. I'm his mom, right? But I have all, and every morning, because he does something almost every day. Every morning he'll be in my early feed during the day. He has to put his feed out because of where he lives. The internet gets very slow up where he is. So he puts his stuff out early. So it's in my box at 7 a.m, and I'm in Central Time. So, and let's see what we got. Gene, go check how you subscribed. And you're right, Angel. Colorado lost the ruling about keeping him off the ballot because it was a national ballot. Where is the Buy Me a Cup of Coffee link? Go in to your Google, type in Buy Me a Cup of Coffee, and it'll say if you want to donate, and just type in Nancy Jean Scardon or Crystal Directions, either one. It'll pop you over to my page so you can donate to Buy Me a Cup of Coffee. YouTube doesn't like them much, so they don't let me they have cute little icons that I can put when I'm on Substack, but I can't do it over here. YouTube's really trying to screw with the readers right now, let me tell you. Let's see. I'll try to remember to put that link into my descriptions of the shows. So if you just go in there, you can click on it there. That would be better. Okay. I think the Dems in California are down to 3, and the two men, Barrera and Becerra, and the other guy whose name I can't remember, sorry about that, they're at the top. And Porter, unfortunately, is only at 5% last poll I saw. And I really like her. She would have been my choice, but they didn't ask me, and I don't vote there. Florida's having another special session to discuss having removal of property taxes put to the voters. Will this happen? Okay, so apparently there's having a thing on their ballot about property taxes, and they're trying to block that. Let's see what we got. Will the Florida voters we're going to ask, will the Florida voters be allowed to vote on the property tax proposal that I presume they've gotten on by signatures and being able to put that on? We can't do that in Texas. Yep, they're going to be able to go ahead. People got tired of waiting for the legislature to do anything. They're going to try to take it off, but the tower reverse, it's not going to work. Right now, people are going to do what's in their own best interest. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be kind of heartbroken and not seeing clearly about this issue. But you got the Queen of Cups as your out card, which tends to be a positive. So I'd say, yeah, they're going to get a chance to vote on this. Happy birthday to Marby. Gongora's son. Yay. Let's see. CBS is in a hell of a lot of trouble. Let's see if CBS it's going to be hurt by the 60-minute changes. Oh. Let's see. Losing 60 minutes. A change to 60 minutes hurting CBS. I got that it's stopping them from growing. It's not helping them. They got the King of Cups, which we're take is the people who've ordered them to cut it down. They made a decision to go ahead with this ruling the way it was. They could have ignored the request to change things, and it's going to be costly to them because there's the King of Coins reversed. It's horrible because CBS, when I worked in broadcasting, which was a million years ago, CBS was one of the really great channels then. Okay. You can't find Scott's channel anymore because he took it down, Liz. And I'll let him describe why he took it down. And he's going to when he re-brings it up, it's going to come up differently. And that is what you can do: subscribe, share, and like. Those are all things that can help any channel. But if you like the show and you think that I'm giving you information you need to know, that would be lovely. Oh yeah. Today is a blue moon. And it was a blue moon about 3 this morning, so we're still under the effect of a blue moon. Blue moons happen when 2 moons fall in the same calendar month. That's one way to say it. There's also a thing about blue moons happen when they fall within the same sign, and that rarely happens. It does sometimes happen. Oh, a bunch of you just found buy me a cup of coffee because my phone just told me. Every time you hear the ka-ching, it means I'm getting money. Thank you. So it is a blue moon and it's a special day. Okay, there is a way, Ario, that you can, I have premium on my YouTube. I have premium on my YouTube that's under my own name. I do not have premium under Nancy Jean's Garden because I want to see what ads they're putting up on me. But they figured that out because they used to put a lot of political shit that did not match my point of view at all. So I complained, and now I don't see those ads as much. When you set up a video to go on, and trust me, I did. I'm doing the 9 candles again tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to see me, you can see me and Danny. It's a premiere. We're talking about how 9 candles works. This is a kickoff day for it. And then we have 9 days of, I've got astrologers, I've got ET influencers, I've got house clearers and people who do dowsing. I've got Nath from Portugal. I've got some other readers. I've got some new different readers. And let's see. There's one more of this in there. Anyway, I try to find as many disciplines as I can to be on the 9 candles so that we hear about the 9 candles. And the 9 candles is we're building from now until the 9th of June. Venus and Jupiter are conjunct on the 9th of June. You can actually go out and see it up in the sky. It's fun. And it's a wonderful, marvelous influence that should make us feel calmer and better. But I just set up Ariel. I set up 9 on YouTube and I set up 9 on Substack. And it takes forever. And when you're in there loading it in, you tell it how to have the ads. Well, one time I tried to say, just put one ad in the middle and, quit breaking it up all the time. They do whatever they want. They don't care. Carrie, somebody got through because it shouldn't have to log in. There should just be you want to donate. Okay. There are 30 names. Yeah, but right now, 2 Democrats are at the top, and then there's 2 Republicans, and then Katie Porter's coming up at the back at 5%. And what will happen with CBS new owner Davis Ellison? Let's see if he's going to last. Because some of these people are going to disappear the second that Trump doesn't hold sway over the FCC and everything else. Okay, let's see what's going to happen to him. David Ellison. Oops. Doesn't look good. Okay. He came in triumphantly, like, I'm going to save the day. Here I am. But he's proving to be not a very good knight. He's not telling the truth. He's losing them money. It's not going the way he thought it would at all. And he may be moving on. They may bring in a new younger person to run it because they consider him misguided. Who wants the job, though? Did I already discuss the black athletes' boycott of southern states? No. And I don't know anything about it. Let's see if it's going to be successful. NAACP, black athletes boycotting of southern states. See if it's going to work. It's going to work the way they think it will. Okay. Wow, it's going to have some real changes. You got the tower. It's a big change. The Palace of Wands is a lot of businesses are going to pay attention to this. There's going to be huge change, transformation, death, change for this coming out of this. And it's whether people want to learn from this lesson or not. And then you've got the Knight of Coins. It's going to be costly. So, yeah, that looks like it's going to be more of an event. The only time I know what's going on in the news is when you guys tell me in the chat, honest to God. Okay, blue moon is 2 full moons in the same month. And we've had that this time because we had one at the very, very first of May. Now having won this. How will June run for 45? Switch decks. Yeah, the moon is beautiful right now. Trump. What's Trump going to be like for him in June? I hate going in this energy, guys. Oops. Well, it's going to be a real mixed bag for him. He's proud of the seeds that he's planted. He's reaching the goals he wanted to reach, which were sick. His message is not getting out as forcefully as it was. This is the soul card, and I kind of find it hard to understand for him, but he does not get everything he wants in this month. So I think it's going to be a real trippy month for him because he's got his message is not getting out and his soul is getting hit. Or the Ace of Cups can also be the heart. So and yeah, I do understand that Sheila sent me a beautiful picture of she took in the sky of where Venus and Jupiter are joining together, and is absolutely. I think it is in the twins. I think it's in the Gemini. Okay. On tomorrow's Nancy Cass' birthday, and we're doing this. That's when we officially start the 9 candles. Yes, all the thumbs up you can give me help too. And thank you. I don't understand. I think I have premium through one of my kids set me up that I have premium. Hi, Nancy Jean. I would love to hype both of you. I never comes up. It never comes up. I don't know what to say. We have 187 watching now. Was someone put 178? I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. Some of these questions they're not registering, or my mind is getting too old and too draggy to understand. Yeah, I do believe this. I have my own thoughts about him being around for Flag Day, but I don't predict death. So, well, Trump wants to do lots of things, including all of these statues goal, but a lot of people are finding out they can sit on their hands for quite a while and not have it done. And as long as they're not a person of color and they're not being put in a camp. Okay, somebody found it. This must be the chings I heard. Put buy me a cup coffee in the URL extension, explore creators, and put in Nancy Jean's Garden in the search box. Thank you, because when I go in, guys, I go in as the person who's on there, so I don't have to see what you guys see. Thank you very much for letting me know that. Hide. Oh, yeah, that's the NAACP, and those people do a lot of good work, and I know a lot of people that work with them around here, and they want to stop them from writing black people off the voting maps. But I just okay. Let's see if he's in bed. Okay. Is he bedded? We're going to see if he's on bed rest. Yes, absolutely. It says he is. It said he couldn't maintain his balance anymore. Hold, I have to put my cards in a place where they started slipping. He couldn't keep his balance anymore. It's because this is the devil card in a traditional deck, because of he's so tied to all of the materialistic things that have him held down. It's not a happy time at his home. His spirit's making a decision right now on what to do. And if the question was, is he sick in bed? It's an absolute yes. He's sick in bed. And okay, we're doing one card pull. Will E. Jean win another lawsuit against him? Yes, she gets the Empress. I don't think she's going to have to go. I think it's going to get thrown out before it even gets there, but she's not going to lose to him. Okay. And yeah, I've heard this June is going to be lovely and quiet, and that's why y'all need to come do the 9 candles, join the community. And there's another No Kings event for the 14th. Yeah, I think Trump is very, very ill. I agree. I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. That's all I'll say about that. Thumbs up for everybody. Okay. No, Liz, he will not have bankrupted because a lot of the stuff he's ordered to be done, the courts are stopping them from distributing billions of dollars that he should not be distributing. No, I don't think that's going to be true at all. And okay, somebody says if when you're into buy me a cup of coffee, put in Crystal DRI3 and that will get you. I didn't know that because I don't do that. Thank you for letting me know. I will make sure I make notes to that effect. No one is going. They're tearing his boxing event. They're tearing down the equipment. Has the boxing event been canceled? Okay. Has that turned down all equipment? Has his boxing event been canceled? It's another thing I didn't know about. Thank you, J Cat Lady. Yep. It's ended. It's done. Whatever they were planning on doing is not going to happen. There's no home for it. It was a decision made by others for it to be done. It was a stupid goal in the first place, and it's got the 8 of Swords upside down. It's going nowhere. So, yeah, I think it's been canceled. Yeah, they are, Wendy, but it's a slow turn on some of these folks. It's really hard. Will we have more wacky weather in the month of June? No, that's not good. We have more wacky weather in the month of June. No, I got pretty clear nose. I got Knight of Wands reversed. We're getting out of the prison we've been in, and nothing. That's also a no. And some things are going to be changing to the good, and it's going to give us a chance to raise some decent crops. That's what I'm most concerned about. And after we do Justice Roberts, I'm going to pull a oracle card. I'm going to talk about one more thing. I think Sean and I talked about it, but as I think. Okay. Is Roberts upset about the impeachment? He won't be until there's a Republican House and Senate. Thank you. I just got another ka-ching. No, he's waiting though, but he knows his time is over. The 10 of Wands, if you don't know it, it means that endeavors you worked really hard towards, they're kind of reaching their culmination and it's the end of it. He knows his time's over. I guarantee you, when the Congress changes, you're going to see those guys bailing out faster than you can imagine. Okay. Okay. Ballotpedia, which is a wonderful website you should all be subscribed to and look at and get on their mailing lists and everything. They really give out, and they do the ballot from the lowest ranked contests, and they're not the lowest. They're some of the most important, but they do everything from school board to president. They send out any candidate anywhere in the country, and they send them a questionnaire. And one of the things I look at if someone wants me to talk about them is do they answer the questionnaire? Because I've run campaigns, and the only reason people don't answer questionnaires is because they're lazy or they don't think you matter. Like when Trump said, I don't care about the middle class voter. I'm going to get rid of hide my banner. So, anyway, so Substack has on Substack, there's a thing called Civic Blueprints, and they're bloops and things. Ballotpedia is nonpartisan. It handles both sides of the issues. And sometimes I find that interesting to be able to go over and look. It's a well-curated, well-thought-out website. It's a well-thought-out group of people. They're some of the only people I send money to because I think that they can make a real difference if we use them properly. If you're on Substacks, look up Civics Blueprint. That's something they started yesterday. And I hope that you will go over and look at them. And then June 14th is the same day as UFC, I guess. I don't know. And hurricane season starts tomorrow. How will we do? How will the U.S. do? Let me see. I'll pull a card. There's going to be some mass evacuations. That's the I'm out of here card during that season, but I don't feel like it's going to be all that bad, but that's just a feeling. That's not a real time. Anyway, show. Thanks so much for your time and insights. Looking forward to 9 Candles. I put it on your phone calendar. Go, because I'm sending out the first of the 9 candle days. I even did a graphic for the beginning of it. I mean, I went all out this time. I really, and this 9 candles has gone together better for me than any of the other ones. At the end of the other ones, I would swear I would never do 9 candles again because it was so much trouble getting everybody herded into the candles and stuff. But like I said, I've got 2 readers from Europe that are coming in. I've got Tim Walter, the house clearer. Anyway, it's just a fascinating time to catch up with a whole lot of interesting people you ought to know about. And I'm going to pull colors. the secret language of color is going to be our oracle card for the day. This is how we're going to close this out. And this is a fun deck. If you want to have an oracle deck that just has some lovely, wonderful insights and some things that will make you think. If you're trying to learn how to journal, sometimes having a deck like this that you can pull one card from. I don't know this lady. I've had these cards for like the last 5 years. I'm trying to think what else is going on. Magenta. Connect to your deeper inner knowing. Magenta. And my screen, and at least, of course, it looks different on everybody's screen, but I can't see what your screen looks like. But for magenta, it's number 5. And the message we get with magenta is magenta is the color of our deepest inner knowing, inspiring truth, clarity, and faith. Magenta also awakens our enthusiasm for life, connecting you to the higher realms of spirituality and assisting with your journey and self-discovery. If you meditate on magenta, you will become connected to the deeper wisdom. Divine wisdom is always available to you. For the next 7 days before you go to sleep, ask a question of your higher self. What is the part of you that has incredible knowledge, wisdom, and compassion? After this, meditate on the color of magenta for a few minutes. Allow the answer to flow into your mind. If you don't receive it the first time, just keep going, keep persevering. Say, divine intelligence, please connect me to my higher self so that I can receive the wisdom and guidance that can bring me joy, love, and abundance. And you can come along and watch the 9 candles too. And yes, it's a premiere. It will show up on my channel. And tonight we're not lighting a candle. Tonight, Danny and I are just talking about the process of using the 9 candles. And I'm really glad all of you showed up today. I'm glad to have been here. On Tuesday, I have the flower lady from England who uses flowers like I use crystals to help people clarify their lives. And she's a fascinating person. She makes mixtures of flowers. Anyway, go and look her up. And let's see. Hi. And I'm going to be on every night at 7. I will be, if you know how Premiere works, is when it shows up, there's a chat room so we can chat about what you see in the 9 candles. And I will be there every night with the chat at 7 o'clock. That's why it's at 7 o'clock. So I have time to do that. I made my daughter plan her birthday dinner early so that I could make it back in time. And I want to thank you so much for all of you people being here and for all of your support. And I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you. And thank you for coming out. And I want to thank Eli and Sean for dropping by to help make this hour go. Next week, Scott will be back, and Scott can explain to you about what changes he's making in his channel. Today wasn't a change in the channel. Today was a family wedding. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.